Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com. Now, I got a question. I'm thinking about doing a live stream Wednesday, so let me know what you're thinking here. Live stream Wednesday, is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea? Give me some feedback here. So, welcome to my week 3 breakdown of the NFL. And let's start off with this here. A special shout out to Mark Gray. Now, I did make fun of you because you predicted a 52-3 shutout. 52-3 shutout. I mean, come on, Mark. I mean, but I know you meant blowout. If you went ahead and looked at my response to your comment, you'll see about 4,000 reasons in that video of why I know my football. But hey, listen, Mark, I want you to continue commenting, and I hope you subscribed and are becoming one of the greatest people on planet Earth. But the comment about your Cowboys, they're in great shape. I think they may be the best team in the NFC right now. They're 3-0 with the rest of the NFC East in disarray. To me, it looks like the Dallas Cowboys are definitely going to win the NFC East unless something dramatic happens. The offense, I mean, I think a lot's been said about their offense, but it's the defense that I'm in love with. If you watch my breakdown video, I have a man crush on their linebacking crew. Now, I thought about doing a video just because I'm a huge fan of football in general, just talking about the Tampa 2 defense. But in the Tampa 2 defense, it's with smaller, faster linebackers, but you got LVE and Jalen Smith. They're over 250 that can run with wide receivers. So without getting off topic here too much, I mean, the Cowboys, yeah, your Cowboys look great. They needed that last touchdown, though, to cover 22.5. But you were right. They did cover. So special shout out to you. But I made fun of you for that 52-3 shutout. I mean, come on now. The Saints won in Seattle. That was kind of a surprise to me, which is really interesting because the Saints will travel to Dallas. Really fun Sunday night game, and this also shows me that when Breeze gets back, the Saints are definitely going to win the NFC South. But the best part about this game coming up is that there's huge playoff implications in September because both the Cowboys and the Saints look like they're a clear-cut division winners. It's just a question of positioning because the winner's going to have the upper leg on getting home field advantage. And both Dallas and New Orleans have really good home field advantages, especially for the playoffs. And keep in mind, if the Saints win this game with Bridgewater, they're going to be better in the playoffs with Breeze. So that's an additional thing that you got to think about. But this game has huge playoff implications. Of course, I'm going to break it down a little more on my prediction video, but that's the big thing about the NFC so far is that you have the Cowboys and the Saints, which look like clear-cut division winners. The other 3-0 teams, you got Green Bay. They're going to host Philly on Thursday night, and then the Rams will host Tampa Bay. San Francisco will get a bye before they host Cleveland on Monday night. Spoiler alert, San Francisco is going to go 4-0, and I expect the Rams to beat Tampa Bay at home, even though Tampa Bay should be 2-1. That's a different story altogether. But, I mean, you have Green Bay. They're going to host Philly on Thursday night. The line's only 4.5, which I think is surprisingly low. But think about this: if Green Bay goes 4-0 and Philly goes 1-3, I mean, Philly 1-3. That's really interesting. I mean, think about it. This is a team that, at 1-3, you're not completely out of the playoff picture. But I mean, look what's going on right now. You got the NFC North with 4 teams that all have winning records. You have what looks like an NFC West, even with the loss, I still think Seattle looks like a playoff team. You have 2 undefeated teams in Seattle. So that's a lot of, I mean, the NFC is just a lot of fun right now. But, if I had to guess, I would have to say Green Bay and Dallas, to me, look like the favorites. I think, now keep in mind, Green Bay's given up the second fewest points in the league, and you got Aaron Rodgers. So I mean that's a Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl mixture right there. A really great defense, and it's only 3 weeks, but so far they're playing like a great defensive team. And then you have Dallas, which looks like a complete team. The Rams didn't look good in a sloppy win, against Cleveland, but they did win on the road. That you can never understate that. And then San Francisco, which to me, looks like the best team in the NFC East, or the NFC West. I'm sorry, but they're still unproven. But they have a bye. I think they're going to win, hosting Cleveland on Monday night, so they're going to go 4-0. So that's really interesting. Seattle, to me, still looks like a playoff team. They're going to go to Arizona. Then they host the Rams on Thursday night. And here's another thing: is why is Thursday night games good and these Monday night football games are just turds? I mean, we got Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, two winless teams, and then we watched I just got done watching Cleveland and Washington. I mean, come on, Monday Night Football. Let's do better. But I mean, this is just a lot of fun right now with the NFC. By the way, Luke, hey, your Lions, you could call them undefeated. I mean, they're 2-0-1. They're hosting Kansas City. Are we going to talk about this or what? I mean, so this is really great. But after 3 weeks, I don't think there's any clear-cut best team in the NFC. But Dallas and the Saints, to me, look like clear-cut division winners, clear-cut playoff teams. And then the NFC West, you got what looks like to me 3 playoff teams. And then the NFC North, all teams have a winning record right now. So these are great things to, this is why I love football so much. It's very exciting. Two other NFC topics I'm going to talk about real fast. The Daniel Jones looked great. I was very adamant that I don't think you should have started him this early. Was I wrong? I still think it's too soon to say, but he did look great. Would Eli Manning have won that game? I don't know. I honestly don't know. He might have. He really might have. But bottom line, he did look good. I think this takes Shermer off the hot seat, but they host Washington. The loser of that game, the losing coach, is really on the hot seat. And if it's Washington, if the Giants go 2-2 and the Redskins go 0-4, Gruden is super on the hot seat. It's on fire. It could come any week. The bias week 10. If the Redskins are like 1-8, 2-7, or 0-9, definitely a possibility of Gruden being fired. Keep in mind, if Washington wins that game, Shermer's really on the hot seat. I still think that since you made this switch, you still have to finish close to 500. Even with the switch, even with Barkley out, you still have to finish close to 500 to keep your job. Another thing is that Kyle Allen is going to get a start next week. Here's the thing. I think Cam will play in 2019, but in 2020 he's going to be gone. And I think that if you go with Kyle Allen for the rest of the season, you finish close to 500, Ron Rivera will stay in Carolina. I think if he goes back to Cam and he doesn't finish close to 500, then both of them are gone. If he goes to Kyle Allen for the majority of the season and he ends up with 4 or 5 wins, I think both Cam and Ron will be gone. I do think this is Cam Newton's last season in Carolina. I predicted that in my breakdown video, but you already ruled him out. I think he is healthy enough to be a go, but I think they're going to see what's going on with Kyle Allen and kind of go from there. So for right now, Ron Rivera, your job's safe, but you got to be around 500 with Kyle Allen or with Cam Newton. All right, if you go back to Cam Newton, you go 6-10, you're gone, and Cam's going to be gone. So let's go to the AFC now. The Chiefs didn't cover the line. But they were up by, I think, 20 in the third quarter, I think, due to some bad officiating. And ended up being a lot closer than it had to be. But the Chiefs are clearly the best team here. To me, it's kind of obvious that the AFC. Remember last year, it was obvious from almost immediately the Rams and the Saints were the 2 best teams. Well, it's obvious the Chiefs and the Patriots are the 2 best teams. Special shout out to Jimmy Stoneful, your pick of the Ravens. Winning the AFC North. That looks like a lock, man. I would say the 3rd best team in the AFC may be the Ravens, simply because they're going to win the division. All right, it looks clear cut that they're going to win the division. Now, Buffalo is also 3-0, and the NFL's a lot better when Buffalo's good. But even if they do beat New England in Buffalo this next week, I still think it's a 2-dog race between New England and Kansas City. keep in mind the NFL is better with the Bills, but even if you win, I'm still not convinced that the Bills are up there with Kansas City and New England, even with the win. So, and I'll break all these games down in my Saturday video, but it looks like you have 3 clear-cut division winners. Keep in mind, Buffalo, if they win, they're 4-0. They got a game up, but the thing is, you got the AFC South that gets really interesting with the Colts and Texans winning. The Colts will host Oakland, and Houston will host Carolina. One of these teams is going to be 3-1, if not both. And my early prediction of Tennessee winning the South, that's going to be tested as they travel to Atlanta, because if they go 1-3, they're going to be 2 games behind either the Colts or the Texans, maybe both. One of these teams is going to be 3-1, okay? Jacksonville will travel to Mile High, and if Jacksonville goes 2-2, are they a playoff contender? How interesting of a story would that be? And if Denver ends up being 0-4, is Elway on the hot seat? That's something to consider. But basically, to kind of summarize, the AFC is a 2-dog race. To me, it seems very obvious. It's Chiefs, Patriots, everybody else is a tier below. The NFC is really, really interesting. Early on, Dallas and Green Bay, to me, look like the 2 best teams in the NFC, because they have good defenses to go with solid offenses. Keep in mind, Green Bay's offense has been but you got Aaron Rodgers. Both the Rams and the Niners both look really, really good. The Niners will be 4-0. The Rams should also be 4-0, and then they play Seattle on Thursday night. Going to be a great matchup. But, Dallas and the Saints look like they're going to win the divisions because the NFC East, except for Dallas, looks really weak right now. And the NFC South looks pretty weak as a whole. But the Saints won in Seattle, so the Saints, to me, look like they're a pretty good team. When they get Breeze back, that's still a legitimate Super Bowl team. All right? So now keep in mind, it's only 3 weeks, down. You're not even a quarter of the way done. So a lot of football's left to be played. But at the NFC, here's what you got. You got 4 winning teams in the NFC North. You have, to me, still 3 playoff teams in the NFC West, and it looks like 2 4-0 teams. And then you have Dallas and the Saints look like division winners. So, that's a lot of excitement there. So, man, you have a lot of fun. If you watched my video Saturday, I made 2 predictions. Pittsburgh covered 6.5, and the Rams won by 7. Now, I would have picked the Rams at 3, but I saw people taking Cleveland at 5, so the line just kept going up. But whether you had 3, 4.5, or 5, the Rams won by 7, so you would have won my 2-game parlay if you listened to me. So, hey, listen, if you're a subscriber to Andrews Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams are going to come true. But if you're new to my channel, there's this button right down here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till Saturday. I'm going to do my prediction video. And if you have any questions, don't forget to shoot me an email at askandrewsfootball@yahoo.com. So, hey, I'll see you Saturday.